there's a murderer in your home. It doesn't carry a weapon. It doesn't make a sound. It doesn't wait in the shadows or strike in the dark. In fact, you welcome it. You sit on it. You lean into it. You spend more hours with it than you do with the people you love. And right now, at this very moment as you watch this video, it is quietly, methodically taking years off your life. Your chair. That ordinary, unremarkable, four-legged object you've never thought twice about. The one beneath you right now. The one at your desk, in your office, in front of your television. The one that cradles you for breakfast, transports you through traffic, and waits patiently for your return at the end of every long day. It is, statistically speaking, more dangerous than smoking, more aging than sun exposure, more damaging to your body than skipping the gym for a year. And here's the part that should disturb you. Scientists who study longevity have begun to whisper a strange new phrase among themselves. They call it chair time. And the more chair time you accumulate, the faster your biological clock spins forward decoupling from the calendar on your wall, racing ahead of the years you've actually lived. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you something that, once seen, cannot be unseen. I'm going to walk you through exactly how the most innocent piece of furniture in your home is rewriting your DNA, dismantling your posture, suffocating your organs, and stealing time from the back end of your life. But more importantly, I'm going to show you the way out, so before you shift in your seat, before you cross your legs or lean back, stay exactly where you are. Because what you're about to learn might just be the reason you live 10 years longer than the person sitting next to you. Let me begin with a confession. For most of human history, the chair as we know it didn't exist. Think about that for a moment. For roughly 200,000 years, Homo sapiens walked, squatted, knelt, lay down, climbed, and crouched. The body you inhabit right now, every joint, every muscle, every fascial line was sculpted by millions of years of movement. Your spine is not a column, it is a spring. Your hips are not hinges. They are spheres designed to rotate through extraordinary ranges. Your heart is not a passive pump. It is an engine that requires the gentle squeeze of contracting leg muscles to push blood back upward against gravity. You are not designed to sit, and yet the average modern adult now spends between 9 and 13 hours a day seated. Add in the 7 or 8 hours spent lying down asleep, and what you discover is staggering. Most human beings are now horizontal or stationary for nearly 20 hours of every 24. We are, functionally, a species that has stopped moving. The body, however, has not forgotten what it was built for, and it is responding to this betrayal in ways that are slow, invisible, and devastating. Researchers at the Mayo Clinic gave this phenomenon a name. They called it sitting disease. And when they began comparing the bodies of long-term sitters to long-term standers, controlling for diet, exercise, sleep, and genetics, what they found was almost too strange to believe. The sitters were aging faster, not metaphorically, not aesthetically, biologically. Their cells were older than their birth certificates. Their telomeres, the protective caps at the end of every strand of DNA, which shorten naturally as we age, were dramatically shorter than those of their active counterparts. In one landmark study published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine, women who sat for more than 10 hours a day had cells that appeared, on a molecular level, to be 8 years older than their actual chronological age. 8 years. Stolen, quietly, by a chair. I want you to picture something with me. Imagine your body is a city, a vast, intricate metropolis with rivers of blood flowing through arterial highways, with millions of cellular workers commuting between districts, with power plants in your muscles, with communication towers in your brain, all humming in perfect coordination. Now imagine what happens to that city when you sit down. Within 60 seconds, just 1 minute, the electrical activity in your leg muscles shuts off. The enzymes responsible for breaking down fat in your bloodstream drop by more than 90%. The very biology that keeps your arteries clean and your blood sugar stable simply pauses, goes dormant. As if the city has flipped a master switch and turned off entire neighborhoods. After 2 hours of sitting, your good cholesterol drops by 20%. Your insulin sensitivity begins to falter. The blood in your legs starts to pool, slowing to a sluggish crawl, raising your risk of clots that can travel to your heart and lungs. After 4 hours, the arteries in your legs begin to stiffen. The lining inside them, the endothelium, That delicate inner skin responsible for keeping blood flowing smoothly starts to malfunction. This is the same kind of damage we see in early-stage heart disease. After 6 hours, your hip flexors, those deep muscles that connect your spine to your legs, have begun to shorten. Your glutes, the largest, most powerful muscles in the human body, have entered a kind of dormancy that scientists actually call gluteal amnesia. Your body forgets how to fire them. They go to sleep, and once asleep, they pull your pelvis into a tilt that cascades upward through your spine, your shoulders, your neck, until your entire skeleton is misaligned. By the end of a typical workday, you have sat long enough to reduce your lung capacity by up to 30%, compress your spinal discs with forces greater than standing, slow your metabolism to a crawl, increase the inflammatory markers in your blood that are linked to nearly every chronic disease known to medicine. And then you stand up, drive home in another seat, eat dinner in another seat, and collapse onto a couch for 3 more hours of streaming. This is not living. This is very slowly dying. Now here is where the story takes a turn that even doctors found difficult to accept. For decades, the prescription for a sedentary lifestyle was simple: exercise. Hit the gym, run a few miles, lift some weights. Surely an hour of sweat could undo 8 hours of stillness. Except it can't. This was the discovery that shattered the medical community's understanding of movement. In 2015, a team of researchers analyzed 47 separate studies covering more than 1 million people. What they found contradicted everything we thought we knew about fitness. People who sat for prolonged periods had elevated risks of heart disease, diabetes, cancer, and early death, even if they exercised regularly, even if they ran marathons, even if they were lean, fit, and otherwise healthy. The damage of prolonged sitting, it turns out, is not erased by a workout. The hour you spend at the gym does not cancel the 10 hours you spent in a chair, any more than one salad cancels a week of fast food. The body keeps its book separately. Researchers began calling this the active couch potato paradox. You can be muscular, athletic, even competitive, and still age faster than someone who simply moves gently throughout the day. Why? Because the human body wasn't engineered for bursts of intense effort followed by long stretches of immobility. It was engineered for constant low-level movement, the walking, foraging, lifting, carrying, squatting motion of a creature who never really stopped. Your circulatory system, your lymphatic system, your digestion, your hormones, all of these depend on the gentle, rhythmic pump of muscles being used throughout the day. Sit for too long, and these systems don't just slow down. They start sending out distress signals. Cortisol rises, inflammation creeps, cellular waste accumulates, and somewhere, deep inside your DNA, your telomeres begin to fray, each one a tiny hourglass, sand spilling out faster than nature intended. This is what scientists mean when they say your chair is aging you faster than time. Time moves at 1 second per second. But inside your cells, when you are sedentary, the seconds compound, they land harder, they cut deeper, they carve grooves into your biology that the calendar has not yet earned the right to draw. Let me show you what this looks like from the inside. Imagine a man, we'll call him David. David is 42 years old. He's not overweight, he doesn't smoke, he goes for a run 3 times a week. By every external measure, he is the picture of modern health. But David is a software engineer. He sits for 11 hours a day. His mornings begin in a chair at the kitchen table. His commute is in a chair. His workday is in a chair. His workday is in a chair. His lunch is in a chair. His evening unwinds in a chair. By the time he climbs into bed, his body has been folded at the hips for so long that his psoas muscle, the deep, hidden muscle that connects his lower spine to his thigh bone, has shortened like a drying rubber band. When he stands, that shortened psoas pulls his lumbar spine forward, creating a subtle arch that compresses the discs in his lower back. His shoulders, rounded forward from years of leaning toward a screen, pull his head into a forward position. For every inch his head drifts forward, the load on his cervical spine doubles. A normal head weighs about 10 pounds. David's neck is now carrying the equivalent of 40. His diaphragm, the dome of muscle beneath his lungs, is compressed by his folded posture. He breathes shallowly into the top of his chest, never fully expanding the lower lobes. Over time, this teaches his nervous system to live in a low-grade state of fight or flight because shallow chest breathing mimics the breath pattern of a person under threat. His digestion, compressed by his slumped torso, slows. His circulation, throttled by 90-degree hip angles, weakens. The microscopic capillaries in his legs begin to retreat like rivers drying up in a forgotten landscape. And his face, David's face, without him ever knowing it, begins to change. The skin loses circulation, the lymphatic drainage stagnates. The constant downward gaze creates folds along his neck and jawline that no cream will ever erase. He looks, to anyone who hasn't seen him in a year, just slightly tired, just slightly older than he should. David doesn't have a disease. David has a chair. And David is most of us. Here is where I want to take you somewhere extraordinary. There are pockets of the world small, scattered, almost forgotten, where people routinely live to 90, 100, even 110 years old, in full health. The researcher Dan Buett mapped these regions and called them the Blue Zones: Sardinia, Okinawa, Nicoya, Ikaria, Loma Linda. For years, scientists assumed the secret was diet, then they thought it was genetics, then community, then purpose. But there was one thread, one strange, almost embarrassingly simple thread that connected every single one of these long-lived populations. They didn't sit much, not because they exercised. Most of them never set foot in a gym, but their lives were structured around constant, gentle, unremarkable movement. The Sardinian shepherd walks 5 miles a day among his hills. The Okinawan grandmother sits on the floor getting up and down dozens of times rather than in a chair. The Icarian farmer tends his garden, kneels in his vineyard, hauls his own water. And here is the most remarkable detail of all. In Okinawa, where some of the oldest humans on Earth have lived, researchers measured how often elderly people get up and down from the floor in a single day. The number? More than 30 times. Each rise from the ground is a tiny, full-body workout activating the legs, the core, the spine, the balance system, the cardiovascular system. 30 times a day, every day, for 90 years. Compare that to the modern Westerner, who may not sit on the floor a single time between birthdays. There is, in fact, a clinical test called the sitting-rising test. Doctors ask a patient to sit down on the floor and stand back up without using their hands, knees, or any external support. Each part of the body used to assist the movement deducts a point from a total of 10. Studies have shown that adults who score less than 8 on this test are dramatically more likely to die within the next 6 years regardless of age, weight, or fitness level. Your ability to sit on the floor and stand back up is, quite literally, a predictor of how much time you have left. The chair didn't just rob us of comfort with the ground. It robbed us of the daily unconscious ritual of negotiating gravity, and in doing so it severed the most ancient relationship our bodies have ever known. So what do? If you've stayed with me this long, you might be tempted to feel a kind of low panic. After all, you're probably sitting right now. You may have been sitting for hours. The ghost of every minute spent in a chair may suddenly feel like a debt you owe your future self. But here is the strangest, most hopeful part of this entire story. Your body forgives. The same biology that punishes prolonged sitting rewards even the smallest interruptions of it. Studies have shown that standing up for just 2 minutes every 30 minutes can reverse much of the metabolic damage of a sedentary day. 2 minutes. That's all it takes for your enzymes to switch back on, your blood sugar to rebalance, your circulation to resume. The cure for chair time isn't a marathon. It's micro-movement. Walk while you take phone calls. Sit on the floor while you watch television. Squat while you wait for your coffee to brew. Stand when you read. Take the long way to the bathroom. Park farther from the door. Set a timer that pulls you out of your seat every half hour, even if only to stretch your arms toward the ceiling and sink your weight into your heels. If you can, sit on the ground sometimes, cross-legged, kneeling, in a deep squat the way humans have rested for 200,000 years before the chair was invented. It will feel awkward at first. Your hips will protest. Your knees will complain. That's not a sign you can't do it. That's a sign of how much your body has forgotten. And here is the secret beneath the secret. Every time you move, you are not just burning calories or strengthening muscles. You are sending a signal to every cell in your body that says, I am still alive. I am still here. I still need you. The chair tells your cells the opposite. The chair whispers, we are done. We are finished. We are waiting. Your body listens to whichever voice you let speak the loudest. There is a clock on your wall. It ticks predictably. Each second, a small mechanical movement. Each hour, a quiet chime. It is a public clock, a shared one. The same time passes for everyone in the room, but there is another clock, a hidden one inside every cell of your body. It does not tick at the same speed for everyone. It accelerates when you are still. It slows when you move. It spins faster under stress, under inflammation, under the silent pressure of 1,000 sedentary hours. Two people can sit beside each other on the same couch, born on the same day, and one will leave that couch 10 years older than the other. The chair did not invent aging, but the chair has become its quiet collaborator, a piece of furniture so ordinary, so woven into the fabric of modern life, that we have forgotten to question it. We have forgotten that for nearly all of human history, our ancestors crouched, knelt, squatted, and walked, not because they were disciplined, but because there was nothing to sit on. We built the chair to rest, and in resting, we forgot how to live. So tonight, when you climb into bed, I want you to remember what you've learned. The next time you sit down, I want you to feel it, really feel it, the small surrender your body makes. And then, every now and then, I want you to stand back up, not because you must, but because somewhere inside you, an ancient clock is still ticking, and it is begging you to remind it that you are not finished yet. Because the truth is this, time will take what it must take. That is not a fight you can win. But the chair is a fight you can win every single day. Now stand up, stretch, and ask yourself, how much of your life have you spent sitting still, and how much of it do you have left to actually move? If this changed the way you see the most ordinary object in your home, stay with me. Because next I'm going to show you something even stranger, something about your bed, and the 7 hours you spend in it every night. That may rewrite everything you thought you knew about rest itself. Until then, get up. Your future is waiting on the other side of the chair.